Spoilers for Dispatch episodes 1 through 6. Hi, my name is Ryan, and I am just a big nerd. So, I meant to make a video about Dispatches episodes 3 and 4, but then I got distracted playing Arc Raiders. I'll probably make a video about that here in a minute. But there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Rush this video out again just before the last episodes drop tomorrow. First things are some neat details I noticed. The first is during the house party, when you see Invisigal start up the playlist for the song, if you're listening to the licensed music, the song Radio plays, and you can see the art on the phone. It's literally the same song. It's pretty great. Another detail is it's very clear that Invisigal pocketed the Astral Pulse once she got to it. You can even see it glowing through her jeans. So we have the Astral Pulse. Shroud has an empty case. That's going to be fun to watch unfold. So there's a lot of interesting theories that I'm going to get into now. The big one, of course, is who is the mole inside of Z-Team. And I think I want to get to that one last because there's a lot of other things I want to get through first, just real quick. The first thing I want to get through is kind of an interesting one, and I have a feeling, I felt like after watching episodes 1 and 2 that it was clear that Shroud knew more about the Astral Pulse than he should. He knew exactly the percentage it was at while all the shields were firing at it, and it's clear that he had used it at some point. That's what made me believe that he was possibly Robert's father. I don't really think that's going to be the truth anymore. We've seen through the comics and through the mugshot of him, he's going to be a different person. Probably, like 80%, I'm sure. But he was very familiar with the Astral Pulse. Episodes 3 and 4 came out, and Roy talked about how he was not sure how Robert's dad ever created the Astral Pulse, and it became very clear, Shroud made the Pulse, Robert Jr. made the suit. Everybody built it together. They were Mecha Man together. Less sure of that now. Why does Shroud need the Astral Pulse still? If he made it, he could just make another one. But he hasn't. Which leads me to believe that he can't. Unless it's like the classic boring thing of the resources necessary are so rare. Which leads me to believe that either he and Robert Jr., Robert's dad, made the Pulse together, or that Shroud never made it himself, that he possibly stole the technology and then had used it for a long time, thusly was very familiar with it without knowing how to reproduce it. That's where I'm feeling right now. And then Mega Man Astral, Robert's father, found out that he had stole the technology, confronted him about it, and then he was murdered to keep it quiet. That's where my gut is telling me that this is. Another theory I've been seeing going around is that it's possible that Blonde Blazer is Shroud's daughter due to them both having blue eyes and brown hair. I think that could be interesting. I'm more happy that I feel very vindicated in my theory that Blonde Blazer seems inspired by Mecha Man. And I'm very happy because at the end of episode 4, if you chose to go to dinner with Blazer, she reveals that she has basically this Sailor Moon style transformation magical amulet that allows her to go into Blonde Blazer from her normal Mandy self. And that basically confirmed it for me, because you have Robert Robertson III, and then you have Mecha Man, and then you have Mandy, and you have Blonde Blazer. And it's that perfect kind of mirror. I'm very confident that Mandy was born without powers, thought she couldn't be a superhero, admired superheroes, then found out about Mecha Man, this hero who does not have powers, but found a way to help out people anyway, and was inspired by that to go become Blonde Blazer after finding the magical amulet. That feels like what's going to happen. Okay, I think I've spat out most of the other theories I've got. the next big one. So who is the mole in Z Team? And this is where I think I'm going to get kind of controversial. I don't think there is a mole in the Z Team. I think everybody who was at the party genuinely wanted to help Robert. And the reason I think there's no one working directly with Shroud is because that doesn't make sense. If someone was at the party, if, say, Blonde Blazer or Invisigal or anybody else was working with Shroud and was a traitor, they would just tip off Shroud. But we saw with the scene with Invisigal, that's not what happened. Every B-list supervillain was there on the boat trying to steal the pulse. The only reason someone would do that is if they had something against Robert. And so far, the only people we know that have beef with Robert would be the person you cut from the Z Team, being either Sonar or Coop. They're the only two that have motive at this point to, as Invisigal put it, drop a pin in the supervillain group chat and let everybody know the Astral Pulse was there. If someone was a mole working for Shroud, they would just let Shroud know, not everybody else. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that while the Z Team was at Robert's housewarming party communicating with a bunch of their old villain buddies about, hey, where's the Astral Pulse? Have you seen something that explodes like this? All this kind of stuff. That someone let either Coop or Sonar, depending on who you cut, know. They put two and two together and decided to spread the information that the pulse was there and to keep it from Robert as a get back for firing them. That's what makes sense in my brain. So yeah, those are my theories. I'm going to be posting a couple of nerdy things. I think I've got a video, like I said, planned for Arc Raiders coming out here soon. So subscribe, nerd.